Come on in. Come on in. We're waiting for you. We can't start until you come in. I don't think they can hear me. Good morning. It's 10 o'clock Hearthstone time, so it's time to get started. I'll call the meeting to order, and we're looking for our invocation.
Okay, good morning, everybody. Looks like we still have quite a few people coming in. Okay. Gracious and loving God, we gather today after celebrating your resurrection, and we give you thanks for the miracles you bring into our lives. This spring, as we celebrate the beauty that surrounds us, we are reminded of those who struggle in any way. We pray for peace in our nation and our world. Bless our time together today. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Denise, you want to present the minutes from our last meeting?
There were only two corrections. One, sorry, Allison, I spelled Allison's name wrong, so we corrected that. And I was able to get Kellen's last name into the final copy. So the final copy has just two additions or corrections.
We'll take that as a motion to accept. Any second? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. Allison, Treasurer's report.
Since my last report, we have received $38 from donations for the greeting cards in the hobby room, so thank you very much. Our current balance is $2,639.14. I'd also like to share with you a letter I received from Medic One Foundation. Thank you, Hearthstone residents, for your most generous gift of $2,000 to the Medic One Foundation and your kind words of support. Your gift is already fueling the next generation of paramedics, and the energy in our current class is electric. Thank you again for helping ensure that Medic One paramedics have necessary skills, knowledge, and experience to offer the best chance for survival in a life-threatening medical emergency. We can't wait to share updates on our students' journey over the next 4 months and report their situation in July 2026. Because of you, our students aren't just learning, they're turning knowledge into life-saving action. So this was from the Director of Philanthropy at Medic One Foundation.
Thank you. I think those of us here who've made use of Medic One are very appreciative of their skills, and it's really a very professional and compassionate group of people. Marty, you want to give us an update?
Well, Steve asked if I wanted to say something, so I thought, well, yes, I do, actually. First of all, I wanted to say thank you to all of you for playing along with me for these last couple of years. This is an effort we undertake as a group, and so for your participation, for your encouragement, thank you. Also to say, I was thinking as I walked over here this morning, I don't have to commute to work. It's lovely. It's lovely. And I don't have to buy gasoline very often. But, you know, many of our folks who work for us indeed are doing that every day. So I would remind you, as you think about how you might donate to the Employee Appreciation Fund, think about the inflation they're experiencing, even though we may not feel it quite as much every day. And later on in the agenda, there will be a new person nominated and voted on to do this job. And so I wish to encourage all of you to continue to be backup for her. Thank you.
Okay, we have some updates from the Hearthstone management, and Reggie's going to fill us in on some new developments.
Do you like that picture? That's something that Microsoft shares with me automatically. So. It's a screensaver. Good morning, everyone. It's so good to see all of you. Wow, we almost have the room packed. That's phenomenal. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting your resident council. And this assembly is the opportunity for you to learn all that they are doing, both your leadership group and the floor chairs and building chairs. So I always look forward to this. I promise not to stay up here too long, but I want to take a second, and I know this will be done after me as well in the next segment, but I want to take time just to thank all 5 of you for serving over the past year. We're sorry to see some of you go. We're excited about the new members that are coming into this group. I think change is always, a reasonable thing to consider. But Steve in particular has been so easy to work with this year. He's worked a lot harder than it shows, I will say that. And Maria has literally been his right hand through the course of the year, had to step in and substitute and got a taste of what being the president of the organization is like. So we're really excited to have her step into that role, as well as the other changes that are coming and the new folks that are coming. But thank you all. Okay, I'll try not to let it show too much, but I'm so excited about what I'm going to announce today, mostly because it has been something I have been thinking about quite literally for years. But last summer, I began to really see a strong need to have something like what I'm trying to put together with some other folks. As you know, I report to the board. I don't believe, we have one. I know we have one board member here this morning, Albert, and Judy's a former board member, as are others. But so I live between the board because they have really one control over this organization, and that's they can fire me and hire somebody else. That's their main stick, as it were. But they're extremely easy to work with. I so appreciate every one of the members that we've had over the course of time since I've been here, as well as newer members that are coming on board. But the philosophy here at the Hearthstone has kind of always been that the board serves solely as the governing body and responsible for, the review and consideration and recommendation of all things Hearthstone, primarily financial growth, new building, those kinds of things. That's what our board does, and they channel that through me, our chief operating officer, and our chief financial officer. That's how that works. But there's always felt like a huge divide between you all as residents and our board. Not their fault. It's just kind of always been that way. But early on, I thought we have to figure out how to close that gap. And some other communities have taken steps in that direction. But because I talked to our colleagues around the Washington area. But here I wanted to do something different, me. So we're putting together a group, and I think now I can turn the screen on. Let's see if I'm on the right slide. We're not doing the big screen. Okay, all right. So, and I don't have this in front of me, so I've got to look at it too. So what we want to try to do is to address what the team and I have seen as a growing interest in better understanding the Hearthstone's financial condition. I get that. Many of you made large entrance fees to come join this community. And all you've really seen so far are the audits, and they're always late. We're currently working on last year's 2025. The 2024 didn't get done until about 2 months ago, but we think the 25 will be in our hands sometime in late May. But that's all you really had unless you go on the internet, and it's not hard to do, and you look at our tax returns. They're called 990s. A lot of good information in the 990s. We had a prospect the other day came in to see Jill, and she'd gone back, I don't remember, 10 years or more, and listed all of kind of the key components of the tax returns. And I thought, well, that's great. That's good. That's an informed buyer, somebody that really, wants to try to understand risk associated, if any, with joining the Hearthstone. But that raises a question for me, is like, why is someone having to do that? And I know why. There's a growing movement across the country of concerns being raised with CCRCs being operated appropriately, not at a loss, no malfeasance. I mean, there are lots of reasons residents should very much understand the full gambit of the organization's operation, including its finances. So we know we have to do something. By the way, I'm a full supporter, as Laura Saunders knows, of WACRA, and many of you, I think, are members of that association. The Hearthstone has always been behind anything that group feels like needs to happen politically, with our laws, et cetera. So we are hearing from them sort of next steps, what could happen next year, what could happen the year after. By the way, they just recently passed, the governor signed into law, a bill that will require type A CCRCs, and that's where you pay a really big fee up front, and then you pay a flat monthly fee through the course of your life there. That's a type A. And so the state has now passed a regulation that requires those communities to produce a fairly complex actuarial study that can help the state, and this is being managed by the Office of Insurance Commissioner. It'll help the state understand whether or not there might be a problem there. And those actuarial studies will be, I believe, will be public information since they're collected by the government. So all of these things have been on our minds, and we're thinking, how can we, in essence, kind of attempt to bridge the gap, okay? So I didn't memorize these. So we've formed a new group. And the idea is that group will focus on the transparency from our organization, and that includes the board, down to the lowest level of expense and operation, and be able to ask questions, to absorb and understand that information, and then be essentially ambassadors, people that all of you can go to and say, okay, are we going to be all right? Do I need to worry? Do I need to pack? Those kinds of questions. Those are all jokes. I know this is being recorded and people watch that and go, he said you might need to think about packing. But it's all about the Hearthstone finances. So we're calling this group the Hearthstone Financial Insights Roundtable. Now, somebody said, why call it a round table? Well, have you been to our boardroom? Because our boardroom table is a round table. It'll hold about a dozen people comfortably. And so we sort of use that as the premise of how we would build this together. So the group will be made up, well, let me talk about, the group will be made up of a few residents, our senior executive leadership team, and members of our Board of Trustees. And those members are from our executive committee of the Board of Trustees. And those individuals are generally board members that have been a part of the board for a longer period of time. They may have held other offices or committee chairs, et cetera. But there are 5 people on our executive committee. We won't get all 5 of them here. I'm hoping to get 3 on a good day. Okay, so let's talk about the why. The idea behind this group is to be able to openly share, to be able to review, and then discuss all the things related to the Hearthstone's financials. I'm sorry I'm putting my back to you all, but just bear with me. I really thought it was going to be on the big screen. Some of the topics that we'll address could include our annual audits, going through those page by page, stopping to ask questions, getting a better, deeper knowledge of what's in those audits. We'll also look at our monthly financial reports. So we typically produce financials about 10 working days after the close of the previous month. So we've seen January's, we've seen February, and by the way, as a side note, they looked really good. But I told somebody yesterday, 2 months does not a trend make. So we're anxious to see our March numbers. I've seen an early draft. I think they look pretty good, but you never can call it until they drop the last shoe and say we're published. And we'll look at the annual financial performance over the years. And while we can go backwards to any extent that this group wants to, this is not about reviewing or determining what happened, why, et cetera. Because as a leadership team here, we believe we've fixed all the problems. Generally speaking, we have fixed all of those issues that have drained our finances in the past. And it's a pretty long list, and we're very, very near the bottom of it. So we've been working in the background on this for well over a year, back when we closed the health center, and we knew we wouldn't have that revenue anymore. And we also didn't have the expenses, but there just, quite frankly, was not the shift we thought we would see in that process. And then anything else that folks want to look at. Somebody says, can we take a look at our current insurance bill? You know, where we spend close to $300,000 a year for all of our commercial, property, vehicle, liability, security, IT security, those kinds of things. So this is going to literally be an open forum for the members that are involved. The other thing this group will do will assist in, as I mentioned, being a liaison to any or all of you. They'll assist in helping us to really build a higher level of trust and confidence between all of you and our management team, all of you and our board of trustees. That's the ultimate goal. I truly hope we'll be successful and that you all will feel like this is a benefit to you as we go. And lastly, to help ensure that the community is being governed, that's really a board level, and then operated, that's where our team, our senior leadership team comes in, and my responsibility, so that we remain financially sound and to meet our long-term commitments to you. For those of you that were here about 4.5 years ago when I came on board, I stood up here at one of the first meetings I attended, and I used a phrase that I will continue to use until I retire from here. I'm not going to work anywhere else. I'm done when I leave here. It's been great, and I look forward to the years to come, because the first 4 or 5 have, quite frankly, been pretty challenging, not just for me, but for many others on our team and our board. So we're pretty excited about what the future holds. But I stood up here and I said, my sole purpose in being here is to ensure the long-term sustainability of this organization. That was essentially directed to me by the board, but I had seen the financials, I knew the history, I checked a number of things to see where we were in terms of the components that make a community successful, and there were several of those that were well below par, but I thought, well, we can fix those. We can work on resident satisfaction. We can try to get some new elevators. We can fix the Wi-Fi system. We can get a better, newer dining services company in here. So all of those components were in place, and we knew we had to make corrections. So that's my commitment to you. The long-term sustainability of the Hearthstone. We've been here 60 years this year. I'd like to know 60 years from now. I'm not around, but I hope somebody will look back and say, that Mullis guy really didn't screw it up. And so that's my hope. So let me give you a little insight into those that'll be on the committee. So these are the residents that have been selected to join at this point. The first one is Dave Town. He's also known as the mayor of Hearthstone by some people. But all of these folks I'm going to list up here, and this was one of the early criteria. They're accomplished business professionals. They have experience, they have business acumen, they've read their share of financial statements and reports, and they should know the right questions to ask, okay? My hope would be, there's not that we would ever hide anything, but that there's nothing you could hide from this group of people. But Dave, if you don't know, I've heard this story a couple different ways, but that while the zoo, Woodland Zoo, has been around for many, many years, it was struggling a bit, and I believe it was the mayor pointed at Dave and said, go fix it. And I'm just really paraphrasing here, but he gets a lot of credit for making the zoo what it is today. Yeah, absolutely. And he also, if you don't know, is a former resident council president. Second is Frank Greif. I don't think he really needs any introduction, but Frank was one of the first residents here that I was able to confide in and sort of tell about my challenges. It always helps to talk to somebody, especially if that person is technically impacted by the decisions you make. So he's been a great friend and a great mentor for me. He also is a former resident council president, and he is currently a board member for our foundation. So a lot of good bandwidth there. And then lastly, is Maria Brooks. Maria is also very much an accomplished business professional in her background. She is also the incoming president of your resident council, but that's not why. It's just a little bit of a coincidence that all three of these individuals are former or current or incoming resident council presidents. But I like that. What that should say to all of you is these are people that have been talking about this community openly for a long time. They know the challenges. They serve as a liaison between all of you and your floor and building chairs, and then coming over to us, to Hallie and her group, and sitting and talking and saying, this is a problem, we need to address it. I've said many, many times, if we don't know there's a problem, there's absolutely nothing we can do. Okay? We don't know about it. So we want to know what's going on, what your concerns are, what your fears are, et cetera. And that really is also the reason we formed this group. So in addition to those three residents, I will serve on this roundtable group. We'll also have Stacy, who is our Chief Operating Officer. Stacy's the one that can answer questions more quickly than I can that are specific to the operation. Somebody says, pick a subject, like we went through a couple years ago. Why do we have an outside landscaping company? Why can't we do that internally? Those are the kind of decisions she has to help make with her team, whether it's maintenance, dining services, working with Hallie in independent living, working with Michael in assisted living, and I'm skipping over somebody, but that's a pretty broad responsibility for her. Operations is her background. She also holds a nursing home administrator's license and has way more experience in this industry than I do. And then lastly, we're asking Peter Schultz, who's our controller. Some of you have heard me say, I see Peter as the next CFO of this organization. We're not ready to make that designation yet, but Peter was extremely instrumental in helping us to build a solid working budget for this year. And we put that in place on January 1st, and we monitor it extremely closely, and we can pivot and do whatever's necessary to ensure that we're hitting that budget. We have a bad budget one month, trust me, things will be different the next month so we can get back in line. So that's the executive leadership side of the roundtable. And then lastly are our Board of Trustee members. And some of you have met them if you were at our annual meeting. The first two folks were on stage. But first is Harry Edmond. I wasn't sure if he'd be able to be here today or not. Harry is retired from University of Washington. He's been a trustee since 2020. Harry, he probably doesn't want me to tell you this, but he attends, which church does he go to? Which one? Messiah Lutheran, if you know where. He's the current president of Messiah Lutheran. And when I asked him about serving in this capacity, and when others on the board asked him about serving as the president, he was a little anxious because of that responsibility to his church. But he told me recently that, that ends in December, and he's pretty excited about that, and he will definitely have time to be a part of this, because we may end up meeting monthly, but at least quarterly. Second is Ann Melvin. Ann is our current vice chair of the board of directors and is a physician, and she has been a great resource to the board also since 2020. And then lastly, I don't think I don't think there's anybody here that doesn't know Lee. Lee was the chair of the board when I first got here. It's a 2-year term. He had to step down, and the person that took it ended up moving to London, and so Lee agreed to come step back in for that role that he's been in since then, and then now Harry just took over at our annual meeting in February. That's the group. One last little caveat is, I can't guarantee you all 3 of those folks will be at every meeting of this roundtable, but we won't have a meeting unless one of them are in the room, because I don't want to be so open and sharing with those residents that are present without the board knowing or hearing what I'm saying and being in agreement with it. So this had to be, to borrow an old proverb, a 3-legged stool. And without one of those legs, that stool is not going to stand up. It's going to fall over. So this had to be residents, our leadership team, and representatives of our Board of Trustees. So that's all I'm able to share today. I have met a couple of times to begin forming this group. We have one more meeting I'm likely going to schedule for next week. And by the way, does anybody want me to ask those 3 people to stand up, because they're in the room? Yeah, you like to. So Mr. Towns here on the front row. Dave lives in Cove West, which gives us a nice representation of the Cove buildings. He was one of the founding residents over there. So. Yeah, Frank Greif is sitting over here to my left. I think you all know Frank. He's been a part of this for a long time. Yeah, absolutely. He was very instrumental in helping me sort of figure out how we might do this. And then lastly, but I'll say more importantly, Maria is serving on this roundtable as well. So with that, don't hit them up after this meeting and ask them what's going on. They don't know yet. But we are planning to meet, we're going to meet again from a formation standpoint and kind of work out a little bit of the housekeeping and details. I have developed a guiding document, kind of like a bylaws sort of idea, but I want to go through that with the 3 of them. So the 4 of us will meet, and then from there we will schedule to invite our other executives here that are involved, as well as our board members that have agreed to participate. So I hope that first meeting of everyone around the boardroom table will happen next month in May. So that's exciting for me. But thank you all. I appreciate you giving me the time to do that.
Thank you, Reggie. Hallie is going to talk to us about management updates for the community.
Okay, good morning again. So to follow up on what Reggie was just speaking to, I want to remind everyone the audits, the last audited financials are available, hard copies up in the second level in the library, where all the past years are as well. They are also in Touchtown in digital formatting, so if you want to see them there. Okay, long-awaited Comcast update. Vanna White, would you join me? Okay, this guy's been working really hard to get a hold of all the necessary parties. It's good, it's good. She's gonna be out of a job. So we are gonna try to do the walkthrough tomorrow or
Friday.
Or tomorrow's Friday.
Well, tomorrow or, yeah, today.
Today or tomorrow. So that will not require any access. The reason Vanna is up here is to show you guys this is the new modem. It's much larger than we expected, but it will go in every residential unit. So we're hoping that the size is justification to how well it's gonna work. So we're gonna get a notice out, but starting Monday, they're gonna start with Cove East. And again, I'll get messaging out so everyone knows.
Cove West first.
Thank you, Vanna. Cove West first on Monday. Cove East will be on Tuesday, and then we'll start with Lakeside later next week. So assuming everything goes well in the walkthrough today or tomorrow, then you'll all be receiving one of these new modems. And to clarify, Dawn, I see you. This will be inclusive of Mariners games and sports packages. So you will not need to do any upgrades or join common areas only to watch the games. So we are excited to get that out and rolling. And thank you, Craig, for all the work you've done. Did you want to say anything?
No, well, I just wanted to give an update.
Go for it.
No, well, yeah. I mean, okay, so I just got an update from one of the contacts from Xfinity. The equipment involved in order to do this rollout is not in the region as of yet, so there could be a possibility that these dates could be pushed just moments ago. So maybe by a week or so. And I will let Hallie know. I'll keep everybody informed, once we get more concrete information. But that's it.
Thank you, Craig. Yeah. In your unit. To be determined. Okay. And just to clarify, you guys, so this Comcast upgrade is going to be inclusive of internet and cable. So if you're currently paying for any updated stuff, depending on what it is, likely you will no longer need, especially internet, you won't need to pay for that anymore. If you have an old cable box, they're going to go away. Yeah. They're going to get replaced. Okay. All right. I see a lot of questions on that, so we'll follow up. But like I said, we'll get some messaging out, and I don't think I'll give Craig's extension right now, but okay. Next, it got brought up in our dining committee meeting, and Patty, please step in and correct me if I say anything incorrect. This will also be invoices. We wanted to make sure it was clarified. Anytime that we have a special event, any special meal, birthdays, anything like that, holidays, residents need to make reservations. So the only exception to that is if you have a party of 5 or more people, any time of the day, any day of the week, it has to be a reservation. So in order to make a reservation, we would want you to visit the second floor host stand, or you can call the dining extension 5312 Denise for the minutes. And please call the host stand outside of meal times. That'll all be very, very clearly laid out for you guys, the meal times, when to call and not. Did I miss anything, Patty? So again, that's for any special events, holiday meals, anything like that. Please make sure you're making a reservation. And this will just help the dining team better prep for food, not waste as much, make sure we have enough, and also table seating, staffing, all that fun stuff. So again, that will be invoices. If you're gonna order any deliveries to the Hearthstone, whether it's food or beverages, make sure 2 things. 1, if it's alcohol, you have to be in the lobby to show your ID. We can't have Keith or Karina or anyone signing for your alcohol. Additionally, if you have any refrigerated items or freezer food, we need to remind you that we can't store that for you. So make sure you're here if you're gonna get a delivery. I'm gonna skip that one. Okay. So for therapy, this has been an ongoing thing. What I want to say is that Stacy, Michael, and I have been, mostly Stacy, working very diligently at vetting out everything we can do to make sure that we enhance that for you guys. And we are in the final stages of getting it resolved. So more to come on that, and as soon as we can provide more information, we will. In the meantime, you can qualify for home health therapy so long as you're homebound. So if that's something you're interested in, Rose would be your contact. She's 5239 is her extension. And or you can reach out to Jeff, Transportation. 5257 is Jeff's extension, and that will get you guys transportation to an outside therapy for now, if needed. Okay. Again, more information to come soon. Prior to COVID, as many of you remember, we had a really enhanced volunteer program here, and then COVID happened. And so we are now really kind of trying to focus on how to revamp that entire program. Nancy Lindahl is the one that's leading all of that. And Nancy, I will give you her extension as well. But She's going to be hosting an event on April 21st. It'll be at 3 p.m. in the lower level. And it's just an opportunity for any residents that want to get a little more involved or see what opportunities there are, as well as recognizing the volunteers that come to the Hearthstone and already volunteer for us. And that'll be inclusive of assisted living and independent living volunteers that come in. So please join us April 21st, 3 p.m., lower level. I have a lot today, you guys, I'm sorry. Let's see, talked about audit. So as you all know, we're swapping officers today for the resident council. While doing that, it's a good time to just reflect as floors and buildings and consider who's gonna be your new representative. And I'm sure most of you, I think all of you have made that decision. I know it's not an easy task and we're very appreciative of that. With that, we would also like to see a member representing the Resident Advisory Committee that meets once a month. That's where you can get together with the whole resident engagement team and kind of talk about your inside preferences, what your floor and buildings are saying as a whole, what's working, what's not. It's just a really good chance to give one-on-one input and get feedback. So I highly recommend that you make sure you have at least one representative that's going to join us each month. Okay. We are in the process of getting dryer vents done. So more to come on that. Marcellus and his team have been working on it. They're working with Stacy to look at different options, and that'll be rolled out pretty soon here. So, and then every summer, we'll keep doing it. So I know that was a big question. I have a bit of a just 2 slides that I'm gonna show you guys that Lisa put together. Raise your hand if you participated in the fitness check in February with Lisa, Kristen, or Nancy. Okay, quite a bit. So what we found is we have quite the athletic group here at the Hearthstone. Let's see if I can get this.
I just remembered something I wanted to tell you all. So there is an event here Saturday morning. Some of you may know about it. Our foundation is hosting a donor appreciation brunch. Unfortunately, that is not open to all residents, only to the donors of the foundation at this point. We are only planning for about 50 or 60 people. So I like for residents to know like what's going on back there. So it is specific to the foundation. It is specific to those that have donated up to this point to the foundation. If you donated and you didn't get an invitation, please let me know. But I'm trying to help support Albert in preparing for this event on Saturday morning.
Okay. And that is also why this second Saturday social is canceled, just so everybody is aware of that as well. Okay, so we had 31 participants here at the Hearthstone. We're hoping to vamp that up for next month as well, or I'm sorry, for next year. But what the goal is here is to get you all a baseline of where you're at. And what Lisa did with the data was she then took it to the national average. And as you can see, HS is representative of Hearthstone. So our women nailed it here, for sure. If you see in the top right, the bicep curls, ages 90 to 94 that participated, there were 4 of them, were an average of 12, and the highest average is 13 at the Hearthstone. So it's a really fascinating tool, and so I really encourage you guys to keep an eye out. We're gonna do it again in the fall, and we'll bring all the necessary things in to do the 3 different tests. It's all anonymous, your name won't be up here, but we were really proud of that, and we had a great turnout. So we plan to keep doing that, and we hope we see more participation in that. Okay, last but not least, speaking of chairs, so this job is not an easy one, we know. And I know it puts you guys in complicated situations often. So I just, from the bottom of my heart, on behalf of myself, Reggie, Stacy, Marcellus, Jeff, Ariana, we all meet with you guys every couple weeks, and it has been an absolute pleasure. And I don't know that unless you've been in the seat before, what it takes to be in their shoes. So just want to say thank you to you guys. We look forward to working with most of you again for the upcoming year. Marnie, Elaine, we will miss you. Elaine is our retiring emeritus. There she is. So we got you just a small little token of appreciation for that. And that is all that I have.
Periodically, we've planned to have some updates from the marketing team. I'm glad they could carve out some time from their busy days to be here with us. I know they've been busy. So I ask Jill to kind of update us on where we stand.
Well, to quote Marnie, when Steve asked me if I would like to speak this morning, I said, well, yes, I would. Good morning. Vanessa and I want to thank you so much for your ongoing efforts on our behalf, whether it's making really meaningful small talk during tours or having long meals with real prospective residents who are looking to make a move in the near term. You do such a good job of conveying that this is such a welcoming, inclusive, and interesting resident community. We get great feedback every time these engagements happen, and we really can't thank you enough for your help. We have a goal this year of 23 move-ins. That's about 2 per month. And we've had 8 so far, thanks in no small part to Ariana, and 3 more scheduled by mid-May. For comparison, we had 10 move-ins in all of 2025. So we're off to a really good and productive start. With each new move, there is an increased fee schedule. This is especially true if an apartment has been lived in since November of 2021 or earlier, when Reggie became the chief executive officer. So good progress being made on that front. Demand is still really strong in the form of web inquiries, phone calls, tour appointments, and it remains very strong. The wait list is currently 200 people, and I know there's a lot of speculation about the wait list and why with such a big wait list we have vacancies. So I think it's really important to point out that that's a nuanced and delicate process of matchmaking and all kinds of psychology, as you all well know. But there are people on there in various stages of readiness to make a move. There are people who may never move who are on the wait list. There are people who are on our wait list and also the wait list of multiple other communities. And there are people who all want the same limited high demand inventory. So it's a puzzle that we're constantly putting together, taking apart and reassembling, but we are working on it. And to that end, we maintain a top 10 list of our hottest prospects. And we review that and reprioritize that every week. It's mostly people with whom we're actively working and who have indicated to us that they're ready to make a move now or to make a deposit within the year. And our primary focus is on working with those people, but we don't want to lose sight of keeping our funnel, the top of the funnel full, the sales funnel. So we have some specific actionable steps that we're taking in that regard. 4 steps. The first and probably the most important is search engine optimization. So filling our website with primarily blog posts that speak to the frequently asked questions in our industry. And we have 3 really excellent new blog posts that I encourage you all to read. One that was authored by Pastor Leslie, one that was authored by Lisa, and one that was authored by Ariana. So really good content in there and good things to share with your friends if you know that they're looking for retirement living. Paid search, which is to ensure that people like you who are researching in our industry receive results about the Hearthstone first. Targeted video messages, also known as television advertising, but ads that can't be skipped and are targeted to our hot zip codes, specific geographic areas, and also specific demographics. And then last but not least, we have started doing some radio announcements on KNKX, which is the former KPLU. Really good synergy between our 2 organizations, similar demographics, shared Lutheran heritage, shared values, and shared nonprofit statuses. So we've been getting a lot of good feedback about this from prospects and from current residents, and we think it's an important industry to be supporting at this time as well. Thank you.
Wow, a lot of work. Thank you so much. As far as the resident council report today, I'm going to focus just on two things. They have a lot in common. They both involve resident involvement, and one offers an opportunity to look at what's accomplished now, and the other is what we can accomplish in the future. The first is the Landscape Advisory Committee, which came together earlier this year with a lot of interest, with a lot of different ideas, with some significant financial support for the management. We developed basically 4 major projects which are underway or have been accomplished. And I think probably the most dramatic of those was the remodeling and redoing of the balcony around the dining room. We all know that Jim Fryer has been an essential part of that, along with other people in the committee who've combined with their energy, their insight, and some financial support, which has been very helpful. The other 2 areas are the entrance to the Hearthstone on First Avenue here, which Gail Weinberg and others have done a wonderful job at. And the other area at Lakeside is the patio by Woodlawn, which will be redone this summer with some resurfacing and updating on the plants. The 4th project, which is nearing completion, is a comprehensive review of the trees in our community. Trees are a pretty valuable commodity here in Seattle, so not only do we have to do right for them for our sake, but also for the community. We've received a proposal from a certified arborist that we'll be moving forward on sometime in the next few weeks. But I think it shows how people's interest can be focused on something that really is good, not just for us individuals, but good for the community of Hearthstone and also for the community at large. People are proud to see what we look like from the outside. The other area I wanted to talk about is the area of publications. We are really fortunate to have a few people who've been working really hard at maintaining the 2 things that I think are really examples of expression of our community. One is the Journal, which is put out quarterly, and also Voices, which comes out once a month. We know that Meg Ryan, every time I see you, I think of Meg Ryan. Meg Ludland and Rita Smith they're just working so hard. We often will make a plea here at the council meetings, the assembly meetings for help, and everybody shakes their head and says, yeah, that's a good idea. Well, we're going to be a little more proactive about it this coming year, and we're going to form a kind of a steering committee to focus on exactly what needs to be done and exactly who can do those jobs. To make it look like it's something that's not the eternal job that people are committed to for life. But there are so many talented people here. We just need to find out who they are and encourage them to help us out. So if we get an email or a phone call from one of us, please don't ignore it. We'll get you in the hall. But we're going to form a committee to really define what the needs are and to find the individuals who can fulfill those needs. So that's something for the future. I'll just make a brief comment about our relationship with management. I think Maria and Elaine and all of us who've been on the board realize that we have a wonderful management team here. They work hard. A lot of the things that they do we never see. We all have concerns that I think they all take very seriously. And if we try to provide those to them in a constructive way, we always get an honest, helpful response from them. Things that can be done, things that can be done later, things that may not be appropriate for now. But I just wanted to say from my own personal experience, it's been a pleasure to work with all of the management team. They've been a great help to me. So I wanted to give them a round of applause. Coming up soon is the 60th anniversary celebrations, and we have been lucky to draft Jean Greif, who is going to assume other duties here in about 15 or 20 minutes, but she's already on board for the 60th anniversary celebration, so come on board.
Thank you, Steve, and good morning to everyone. I feel like I should introduce a movie or something up here. Okay, we have 3 separate celebrations coming up for the 60th anniversary of the Hearthstone. Each one of them will be a lot of fun, probably a little different from the other, and we will celebrate them in different times of the year. The one that I am working with right now is the Residents Celebration, which is going to probably be in September. And we'll celebrate what's going on right now in the Hearthstone. We have a lot of leeway as far as how much and what we want to do for this, but I need your help. We need to have a committee that is formed soon, and it will hopefully consist of a representative from each floor and one from Cove West and Cove East. And that way we will have really great representation for lots of input as to how we want to party. And we do know that the Hearthstone likes to party. Yes, and there have been many wonderful parties in the past, and we hope that this one will actually surpass all of those parties. So here's my deal. If you want me to come to your floor meeting, and I'm already going to the 8th floor, and we have 2 representatives from other places that have volunteered, I will come and I will wear my high school cheerleading outfit. Now you probably guessed that that's kind of a lie because I can't fit into that outfit any longer. So I will just come and bring my megaphone and my pom-poms, and we will talk very seriously about how much fun this will be. It's only a planning thing. We do not have to implement the party ourselves. That will be done by staff. So just so you know, you don't have to be there to set up or do any of that. It's just getting wonderful ideas and putting it in place, and then it will be taken over by staff, probably sometime in September. So let me know. I'm in Touchtown. I'm at 914-419, what is it? 4914 if you want to call me. So thank you, and please consider it. We really need you.
Report from the dining committee.
Molly asked me to read this. These were her notes that she was going to share, but she couldn't be here. Dining committee is pleased to announce that Sue Arkwitz will be our new chair of the committee for 26-27. Is Sue here? Yes, could you stand up, Sue? This is Sue Arkwitz. She will be the new chair of the dining committee. Also, our dining room manager, Brittany, whose last name I can never decide how to pronounce, has written a very clear and comprehensive explanation of the workings of the kitchen and dining room staff, what they do and should not be asked to do, depending on their specific roles. I believe this information will be read at the floor meetings, and copies, along with the dining room minutes, are available on each floor. So, thanks. Yes, yes, yes. Of course, the coves. They better be available. Well, our floor, and I assume every other floor and each cove, has a notebook that contains dining committee minutes. Yes. Also in Touchtown. That's just the last couple of years that's been happening. So, yes. I'm sorry. I am, lakeside centric.
I understand there was a recent review of the comments from people from the comment stand. Do you have information about that?
Yes, the Happy or Not kiosk actually one recent week hit 100% positive comments. Pretty happy about that. So.
Thank you. Sylvia?
I guess I can still say good morning. I was looking at the clock here. Isn't it on? Oh, okay. First of all, I just wanted to comment that last month was a slow month in the gift shop, but we're still just a hair ahead of last year. So we can't go down this month or we'll be behind last year. Also, I will say we need help. We need some more help in the gift shop. We're closed a few times because we don't have it. So please think about that. And also want to say that we have a lot of travel items. Those of you who are thinking about traveling right now, we have a little display of that, which I will be changing soon. But of course, the merchandise will still be in the shop. And then we're going to have a fashion show. Reggie suggested a new way of doing it, and I thought, well, that would be fun. We're going to have it during the dinner hour in the restaurant on Friday, April 24th. So be sure and come to dinner that night, and we'll have a little fashion show while you're eating. And then I also want to announce something that has nothing to do with the gift shop, and that's Sete de Maia, which is May 17th. Those of you who aren't Norwegian, but you are all invited, and it's going to be on May 17th, which is a Sunday this year, and it'll be between 2:30 and 4. And there'll be goodies and music and artifacts and that sort of thing. And then I also want to announce I need to have a meeting with all those of you who are either a little bit Norwegian or a lot, or you're married to somebody that is, or something of that sort. A planning meeting for what we need to do and ideas. I guess that's it. So anyhow, if you can help out, everybody needs help, it seems like, in whatever we're doing here. But we do need it too. Thanks.
Thank you. Moving on to the floor and building chair reports, we'll start. Oh. I'm looking at the door.
I appreciate that verbal support when he was trying to throw me off of the. So I only have a 30-minute. There's been a lot of thanking of people today for all that they do. I want to thank the movie committee, which is about, given the day and the time, about a dozen residents who. Let's tell it like it is. We're all movie junkies, and the most fun we have is coming together, talking movies, and selecting movies for you all to see. That results in, I'm just guessing now, but we show about 130-ish movies a year here, and given the average attendance, that's about 2,200 people that see movies in a year here. So our job goes on all the time, and we love it that way. I also want to thank the resident engagement staff who have been supporting our efforts ever since I've been here. Lots of different people have gone through that job. Right now, Daniel Young supports the committee, takes the minutes, and is part of the decision-making process. Before him, it was Eric Shin. Before him, Kristen Kent. And during Oscar night, it's all hands on deck. And they do a wonderful job. Can you give them a round of applause? Okay, so down to movies. We did meet yesterday, and we selected the movies that are going to be there for you to enjoy during May. So in May, the theme is, is that a frog? It's one of the movie junkies over there. The movie for May is great movies that were nominated for the Best Picture Oscar and did not win. So, and you will be amazed at the number of really good films but we selected 9 of them because there are 5 Saturdays and 4 Tuesdays in May. And here they are. In chronological order that they will be shown. Citizen Kane, Double Indemnity, 12 Angry Men, Anatomy of a Murder, To Kill a Mockingbird, Broadcast News, Milk, and Up. The only animated movie to ever be nominated for Best Picture. That's May. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you. Apologies. Time's up.
Suzanne Sowery will have my neck if I don't also tell you that on Wednesday, May 20th, at the bridge in Cove West, they will be showing The Last Train, which is a 2003 movie from Argentina and Uruguay. Thank you. Are you putting me on? The Finger? That's at the Cove? The Finger. I won't do no, I won't do that. The Finger, and that's at the bridge, Cove West, 3rd Wednesday, right? Okay, thank you.
Thanks for the movie committee giving us The Finger. We'll go on to floor building reports, and we'll start with the 5th floor. Shirley?
On the 5th floor, good morning. On the 5th floor, we have one couple who moved to the 4th floor. We have a new person who is moving in next week. And we have a resident who is currently in the hospital with a broken leg. And that's all I know about the 5th floor today.
Thank you. 6th floor, Jackie? Oh, Marilyn. Madeline. You.
Thank you. I would like to reinforce my gratitude, along with the general gratitude, to our wonderful officers. And I would also like to give a special thank you to Denise. Her minutes are extraordinary. And having had this role for almost 2 years, I know how difficult it is. So thank you all, and thank you, Denise. Okay, 6th floor. The question came up about what has been decided about the former health center. Cheryl Jackson has been working with ISA to organize the hobby room on the lower level. And that's a huge job because it is pretty disorganized. Sylvia and Tim Strand should be moving into their new long-awaited apartment next week. There are 4 vacancies, some used as storage, and work areas for the renovation team. We have the same officers for next year, with Jackie Backus as chair, Madeline Minks as vice chair, Meg Ryan as secretary, and Fred Crick as treasurer. Thank you.
Our new resident, Bonnie Gherkin, has been fairly elusive for a while, but I finally was able to corner her this morning. So she is real. So if you happen to see her, just welcome her. She seems very nice. Otherwise, one of our residents, unfortunately, is still at Mirabella and might have to move to assisted living. Our next chair is going to be Dinah Hartley, the one and only, and Rich Brooks is going to stay on as vice chair. Thank you.
Eighth floor? Yeah.
A little report on the hobby room. I'm thankful to have Cheryl join the team to clean it up. It seems to be never ending, but she's managed to get rid of the non-working sewing machines, and we will have 2 working sewing machines in the next weeks. And she's also suggested that a couple of people, she and Denise, would like to have a mindful menders. They would be down there for half an hour once a week, and if you need something mended, they would help you out with that. Yeah. So, also, in the cleanup, we found some stuff that we just don't know who it belongs to. It's on a table, and next week we're going to get rid of it. So, and don't forget the cards. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 9th floor. Dawn?
8.
What? 8? Liz Wagner. Nobody? No report. Everything's great. Good. Don.
Well, we call ourselves the Divine 9th Floor because it rhymes. Since we have our regular meeting on the 3rd Monday of every month, the way the calendar goes this month, we haven't had our monthly meeting. So I can't tell you who the new, I have a real strong feeling who it might be, but I can't tell you that until it happens. And so that's not going to be until, I think, the 20th. But I can give you the biggest news on our floor is that we now have 2 active jigsaw puzzle tables. Thank you.
Tenth floor.
Well, we're happy to have Terry Martine living on the 10th floor now. I don't know if Terry's here today or not. There she is. If you haven't had a chance, let's give Terry a welcome. If you haven't had a chance to meet Terry, please introduce yourself, say hello, and welcome her. Next month, or shortly, next month, we'll be welcoming a new resident to the 10th floor across the hall from us in 1027. So that's the news from us.
Thank you. Covese Terry.
Just wanted to formally say we're happy campers. No big issues and problems. Most of them have been taken care of. My purpose today is just on behalf of all the residents is to extend our appreciation and thank you to the gardening committee and also administration who work very well together to identify a lot of the problems with a lot of the cove landscaping. And with the hire of Callum, it's just been wonderful. We've seen so many lovely new plants. It's kind of going in to fill the bare spots, but also adding a little bit of color and interest. So it was a great collaboration. And I have to say that I've had the opportunity to meet Callum, and it's nice to meet someone who loves what he does. And he's ready to share if you ask him about a plant, he can tell you about it. So it's a real delight, and we express our appreciation again. It looks beautiful.
Last but not least, Cove West is all quiet at the moment. Our new chairperson is going to be none other than Marnie, which is great. And we're awaiting Brent Wagner's arrival sometime next month, perhaps soon. Thank you.
Now the moment that you've all been waiting for, and I've been waiting for, is the election of officers. We presented a set of nominations at the last meeting and asked for any nominations from the community, and receiving none, nominations are closed. On behalf of the nominating committee, I'd like to read the nominees. President Maria Brooks, Vice President Jean Greif, Secretary Denise Lentini, who's graciously agreed to be reelected, Allison Battuello, who's also graciously agreed, Member at Large May Bell, and last but least, Steve Neville as of Vice President. We'll take that as a nomination, and formal nomination from the committee. Entertain a second. And we'll have a voice vote in acceptance of the slate. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Thank you. I have one little bit of business before we finish up there. There are a couple of tools that have been very helpful to me as president, and I need to pass these on to Maria. These are really the essential things that get things done around here. The first is the magic gavel, which I've rarely had to use, but it's very handy if somebody is not wanting to serve on a committee. And the final thing is a printed set of notes called From the Desk of the President of the Residence Council. So lots of pages, so she's got a lot of things to do. And so in that spirit, I'd like to have a motion to adjourn, and thank you all. Whoop.
Nope, before adjourning.
Oh.
Reggie and others have thanked. Oh, I forgot. Most important thing. So thanks have been offered for Steve, Elaine, and Marnie for their service, but I want to point out that the real heart of this whole governance are the floor chairs and other people from each floor and building who volunteer to be representatives. They are, just like I said, the heart. They are the voice and advocates for their people, and they are the communicators of information back. So for those of you who are transitioning out of those roles, thank you very much.
We're adjourned.